Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. Sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. DJ PK, and we're joined now by Riley Jensen, former Aggie quarterback, now working with mental performance in the world of sports. Riley, good morning.
Good morning, guys. A little Tina Turner to bounce back this morning. I like what Jake's trying to do here.
She was born on this day in 1939. So
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. There you go.
Riley, I'm thinking all your work, mental performance, the psychological part of sports. I think that you watched football last Saturday and you watched the BYU game, the Utah game, and the Utah State game, and you thought, those are three very healthy teams, or they couldn't have done what they did.
Yeah, I think the Utah State game was really surprising to me. I thought the win was actually going to come this week against Boise State. I thought they were going to make it in the bowl game, to the bowl game, just because that's pretty much what Bronco does. He comes in and he turns the direction around for a team. But, man, Bryson Barnes is just an amazing football player. I think he's an amazing leader for this team. I think they've really embraced, instead of I think for a long time Utah State's kind of pushed away or pushed back on the agricultural thing, and I kind of like the way this team is just embracing it. And they're like, yeah, that's what we are. We're blue collar. We're a blue collar football team. We win games. We win them in difficult ways and in different ways, and we just roll up our sleeves and go to work. That was fun. Giving up 500 yards rushing for the University of Utah is not exactly the way that you like to exhibit or show everybody that you're mentally tough, but they were opportunistic at the end of the game. And then, God, you just have – you can't – the BYU team, they are very mentally tough, and they've done it in a variety of ways this year. And, man, if you want to stop BYU, you've got to stop that running game. And they just, week in and week out, they make the plays that they need to make to win. So, yes, mentally tough in all three phases, with all three teams for different reasons and in different ways, no question.
You just mentioned all three teams and did a little rundown. And what's interesting to me is put Ficklin in the mix too. So you got four quarterbacks in those three teams, right? And you look at Bryson Barnes, not recruited, walk on. Ficklin, not recruited that highly. Dampier, not recruited that highly, has to go to New Mexico. Bachmeier, recruited highly, right? So out of one of the four, only one of them was recruited highly and had the stars and all that stuff. The other three have had to make their mark. And it just amazes me, the evaluations at the quarterback position, because it seems like nobody can ever get it consistently right. A great quarterback with the stars, bombs, and I've got three guys. Ficklin, he still has a lot more to prove. But I think Dampier has proven what he can do at two different levels now. And to an extent, Barnes has proven what he can do. If they knew Rising was never going to be healthy, they probably would have kept him, and he would have wanted to stay at Utah. So he would have been doing it at the Pac-12 and now Big 12 level. How do we get a system to where it could ever be where quarterbacks are judged on their talent a little more consistently?
Well, I think so. I have a little bit of a theory on this, and that is, it's really, really hard. It's really hard for everyone in football in every position, but especially quarterback. It's hard to measure motivation, and it's hard to measure the heart. And I know this is a little bit cliche, but just bear with me for a second. If I were to line up a whole bunch of college golfers and you were looking at all the college golfers and they were all swinging and like warming up for a tournament, it would be really, really hard to tell which one was the best player because they all have great swings. They all can drive the ball. They all can hit the ball well. But the one that wins the tournament has this heart and this preparation and this mental toughness that's hard to measure, right? And I think that's what's happening with quarterbacks. I mean, the theory that I have with quarterbacks is if quarterbacks get too much love too early, they become less motivated. Think about all the guys that have won Heisman trophies and have gone on in the NFL and maybe not played as well as you thought they were going to be. The quarterbacks that have played well in the NFL, and there's a couple of exceptions to this, John Elway and really Peyton Manning are the exception to this rule. But do you think that growing up in Texas that Drew Brees wanted to play for Purdue? No, he wanted to play for one of the Texas schools. Do you think Philip Rivers growing up in Alabama wanted to play for NC State? No. Do you think – I mean, I can go through – scenario after scenario after scenario where these great NFL quarterbacks were in some way slighted and overlooked. It doesn't mean that they were like completely slighted, like they didn't play Division I football, but they didn't get to play for their hometown school. They didn't get to play for the school that they dreamt of playing for. And so I think a lot of times these quarterbacks have this undeniable will or this undeniable want to show that they're the best quarterback, number one, on the field that day, and number two, the best quarterback in their conference, and then number three, best quarterback in the country, and then eventually that transfers over to like really, really long careers in the NFL. And so I almost think that these quarterbacks that get overlooked a little bit or slighted, I mean, even Tom Brady was constantly like creating these scenarios where he felt slighted or where he felt angry about things. And I think that's what these quarterbacks do, and I think that's why they're really, really good, is because they still have something to prove.
So you don't think Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to a junior college?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to catch on here to your point. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can go down list after list after list of quarterbacks. I mean, Tom Brady, I think everybody said he wanted to play for USC or something like that, right? Like, there's just you can go down the list of quarterbacks, and I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. I mean, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Texas. Walks on to Texas Tech, wins the spot, and then the next year they're like, "Yeah, you're going to have to compete for the spot." He's like, "Well, forget that. I'm going to Oklahoma." And then he's been, even in the NFL, he's been kind of left for dead a couple of times. And now you look at him and you're like, geez, dude, this guy is really good. I mean, you could take a local example. Jackson Dart signed with USC, and for all intents and purposes, that was like the dream school where he wanted to play. A new coach comes in with his quarterback. It's not really going to be a fair competition. Even if he won the competition, he would have had a short rope. He goes to Ole Miss, which is not necessarily probably his first choice or even like on his radar coming out of high school. And now he's competing on the NFL level, right? I mean,
and Joe Burrow says that story sounds familiar to me.
Right?
Ohio guy wanted to go to Ohio State, didn't win the job, transferred to LSU, went 15-0.
And is now a big-time quarterback in the NFL. So these stories where they stay a little bit hungry is kind of good for them. I can go through other positions too. I've gone through on the quarterback position over and over and over again just because that's near and dear to my heart. But there's other positions too where this happens all the time. Too many awards too early seems to make people a little bit too happy and a little bit too content.
That's why, Riley R. Jensen, I have never wanted or earned or won an award, because it's kept me hungry all these years. Each morning I wake up angry, my good friend.
Well, I would say that you could play for BYU because they're humble and hungry, but the humble part, I don't know. I can see that you're hungry.
Humble? I would have to go an extra 20 miles just to have any form of humility, because I've been stripped of most of my dignity all these years. That's the way you have to approach it.
It's
you just did it right there again.
It's hard work to be Patrick Kinahan. What I like what you're doing is you're continually like motivating yourself. You're like the Tom Brady of sports radio in Utah. That's what you are. Constantly creating scenarios where you're angry.
He's got to do that because he got to settle here in beautiful Salt Lake. It's not like he's Josh Allen. He had to go to Laramie, Wyoming, right?
I started in Casa Grande, Arizona, David James Sniggledorf III. Have you ever been to Casa Grande, Arizona? Ask some of your soccer boys. They've been there.
They have been
That's
there.
the bottom of the barrel. They have no dentists in the town. You know why? Well, figure it out.
I can
Do they
tell
have
you.
summer teeth? Some are here, some are there.
Oh, nice. Wow, I hadn't heard that one before. When they built that new academy in Harriman, and, they're all out there for that. They took some players out there for the groundbreaking, and I saw Justin Glad, who went through the academy when it was in Casa Grande. I said, "Is every player from this point forward going to be soft?" And he just laughed maniacally. Absolutely. If you don't know Casa Grande, you don't know toughness.
Yeah, and I know Casa Grande. I've been to Casa Grande. Casa Grande is a friend of mine.
Yeah, well, you and Justin can bond over that because that was he wore that as a badge of honor, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. So let me throw this at you, Riley R. Jensen. If that same form of motivation that you're using with that philosophy and that alignment, how much do you think that can carry the Cougars next week when they go down to Arlington, Texas and play Texas Tech, which embarrassed them on national television on the heels of Fox Big Noon and all that stuff?
Well, so there's two things like psychologically that I think bode well for BYU. Whether it's the NFL or any level of football, I mean, you can go all the way down like Little League here in the state of Utah. To beat a team twice in one season is really, really difficult to do for a myriad of reasons. I think BYU will be super motivated. I think their running back is much more healthy at this point than he was in the first Texas Tech game. I think that BYU will know what to expect. I'm not sure that translates to a win because I think Texas Tech is just a really, really good football team. I can almost give you the Riley Jensen guarantee that comes with a warranty that this game is going to be a lot closer. And I think BYU has will have all kinds of chances to win this game. I think the last game, the hard part is it got out of control. And so it didn't, in your head, you're not going, man, if we just would have made this play or that play, we could have won that game. I think this next game could be something like that. And so that's the type of a game where BYU has played opportunistic football. When they've had a chance to win, they're pretty good. The only game that they haven't really had a chance to win is this Texas Tech game, and I think they'll be in the game this time. I can't guarantee a win, but I guarantee you it's going to be a lot closer.
I'm watching the game playing that's going on with substitutions. You know, the offense substitutes and then the defense. They got to do it early because otherwise the defense takes their time and tries to get a delay of game. And I watch it going back and forth. And I think what the Utes did in the Sugar Bowl where they basically went they didn't sub and they went – now it's tempo. It used to be the 2-minute drill. It used to be no huddle, whatever you call it. But they didn't give them time, and the defenses got gassed. Now, there's a risk. You go 3 and out, and your defense is gassed because they're right back out there on the field. But we're not seeing much of that tactic. Why have coaches dropped that from their bag? Is it the fact they're afraid of putting the defense back out there very quickly? Because, I mean, we've seen it work. We've seen it work in a game we're never going to forget. And now we're seeing all these other game playing happen in multiple games. It's been a problem for multiple teams. And I wonder why somebody doesn't do it.
Well, I think with BYU, one of the reasons why, you know, the quarterback position's playing so good is that Aaron Roderick can talk to him until there's 15 seconds on the clock. Mm-hmm. And so that's a little bit of a different scenario going on with Bachmeier. One of the reasons he's so good is because Aaron can talk to him and say, hey, look, we're going to run this play or this play. Look for this check. You know, he's literally like in his head, like talking to him about things. But even when the Utes did it against Alabama, that was a senior quarterback that you had a lot of trust with to be able to run an up tempo or this high speed offense. Now, what I would say that you could do, and what I would say is a nice mix up, is like I like teams right now that will mix it up during a series, or like one of the things that I do just with my Little League football team is we'll come out and we'll say, okay, so on second down, we're going full speed, meaning one play per 4 downs. Every time it's second down, we're going what we call NASCAR, which is to speed it up. So then what you're doing is you're not just throwing all fastballs at someone. You're throwing a fastball, then a curveball, then you're throwing a slider, then you're throwing a fastball. And I think that keeps defenses really, really off balance. And so I would look for some version of that, not necessarily just like go, 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 like Brian Johnson did in the University of Utah. And that was an amazing game. I was actually at that game and just like shaking my head and watching everybody with their Bama bangs like shake their head back and forth. And they just could not believe what happened to them. And but I like the idea that you're talking about. I think the whole thing, and the reason why you haven't seen it, sorry, this is a long answer, is because the ability to talk to your quarterback is so tempting for an offensive coordinator right now. And I think Aaron Rodgers had to do it with Bachmeier to keep him sharp and to keep him in the game. But I like the idea. I just think it's so tempting right now as an offensive coordinator to just keep talking to your quarterback up till 15 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Especially if he can handle it, though. He has to be able to handle it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point he's no longer a freshman. Now you're talking about a sophomore quarterback, and I think he can handle more and more, and I think you're going to have a minute to prepare for Texas Tech, and that might be something that they do. I don't know that they do the full, like, University of Utah version, but like I said, they could do something where they're just like, all right, so in the first quarter, every time it's second down, we're going to go NASCAR, right? Or we're going to do it every first down in the second quarter type of thing. And then it keeps people off balance. It doesn't allow them to like sub and bring in, 3 new defensive linemen every second. And that's where they're so good is not just the fact that they're good at D-line, but they're deep at defensive line.
Sure.
Riley, we'll leave it right there. Good luck to your Aggies beating Boise State. 9 straight losses. The streak could be snapped.
Well,
it could happen. Feels like it could definitely happen.
I think it definitely could happen. I think Maddox Madsen, the local quarterback, is out.
Yeah.
And that's good news for Utah State. So a local Utah guy contributing to Utah State wins is always a good thing for me.
There you go. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Riley. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you.
Have a great one.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. PK, Boise State's only favored by 3.5. Would you even call that an upset? Very mild. I mean, technically it would be.
Technically, but I think it's more historic given the 9-game losing streak, that type of stuff. So if you factor that into it, clearly Boise has the mental advantage as a program. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that the individuals on this team this year have that.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Barry Trammell at the top of the hour. Coming up next, it's a Win Tickets Wednesday. We got tickets to give away. We will do that. Nate Bargatze fans, stick around. They follow the break right here on the Zone.